Soulful Conversations with Bithika Anand, exploring the person behind the lawyer. Soulful Conversations with Bithika Anand and Abhijit Joshi, founder and managing partner, Veritas Legal.
Hello and welcome to Soulful Conversations with Bithika Anand, an initiative that is close to my heart and something I have been intending to start for quite some time now. When I started reaching out to colleagues and friends within the legal fraternity for featuring them in my show, I was touched to see a very, very good response. Perhaps this is the first time we are dwelling deeper into finding the person behind the lawyer. Very, very important, because the lawyer that is today is actually the person behind the lawyer. So while the guests on the show are all eminent legal personalities, we will talk everything but legal today. Now you may be wondering what we will talk about today. Why did I choose this theme of my conversation to be soulful and not about their professional accolades, their wins, their awards and achievements? I think enough of this is talked about it in many shows and in many events, because I truly believe that all of us are much more than any metric or measure can define. My show will aim to understand the core of these achievers, the metal that makes them who they are, digging deeper into their persona and exploring their true self. This is the platform where you look within and speak from your inner voice about aspects that you have perhaps never spoken about, or aspects you have spoken about, but not with a soulful perspective. I'm very excited to start this journey of unraveling the authentic self of these stalwarts. And I'm sure that viewers will just love this unique show that presents making of these icons. I also have to thank Bar and Bench for being our media partners. And on this soulful note, I am pleased to welcome Mr. Abhijit Joshi. Hi, Abhijit. How are you?
Hi, Bithika. How are you? All good?
Yeah, so I'm going to take like just a few minutes to just introduce you, though I think you don't know, none of you guys need any introduction. Abhijit Joshi is a founding and managing partner of Veritas Legal. He's a dual qualified solicitor in India and England, and his expertise primarily extends to the mergers and acquisitions, private equity, and private client practice. Abhijit is highly regarded globally as a leading corporate lawyer and ranks amongst the top 15 M&A advisors in Asia. He has been consistently recognized and by Who's Who Legal as a thought leader on M&A, and by the top managing partner as a top managing partner by Forbes India Legal Power List. Publications like IBLJ and Chambers and Partners regularly recognize him in their annual lists and rankings, and in their annual and he's considered as one of his whole organization, I would say, and a law firm, and him in one of the topmost brands. In fact, one of his complex major merger transaction has also been awarded with the Financial Times Innovation Awards Asia Pacific. Then he's part of many forums. He's part of an Atlantic Council USA and a member of the Cambridge Forums Entrepreneurs Organization and Young Presidents Organization. And he also serves on the board of the Oberoi International School, Mumbai. So here we have today Abhijit, who is now going to share anything but legal with us. So it's going to be an interesting conversation with him. And we really, really look forward, Abhijit, to have you with us today. So now I just want you to think, maybe you've thought about it already or you already know it. What is it, that one experience that you want to share with us, according to you, was a turning point in your professional journey? So this is still professional, not very personal.
Turning point in professional journey. Actually, Bithika, it's like almost 30 years and 2 decades and more. We've worked so hard. I mean, you've been part of that journey as well, from the evolution of early 90s. That when that point came and where you turned, and you did not realize, because there's so much of activity in a nation as such as ours, from a third world country to an emerging economy, and we've been privileged to be part of it. But if you ask me, uh, where the turning point was, then it's probably a desire to incorporate everything that you learned into making of the firm. Um, and that really, made me take the plunge from my last job into entrepreneurship. And I think that, to my mind, it's a very late turning point, if you call it a turning point. And frankly, I'm still waiting for the real turning point, not professionally, but personally, because I'm 53. And the next 10 years, certainly, I hope that there are turns which are more purposeful.
As an entrepreneur, how do you find your life different when you are working in a firm and as an entrepreneur? What is it that as an entrepreneur gives you either a joy or a challenge, or what is it that in being an entrepreneur that your emotions are, or your feelings are, or your thoughts are?
I think as an entrepreneur, I think even now in today's time at a senior level in firms, it is it is a bit of entrepreneurship in terms of evolution that one has to provide. But when you are completely an entrepreneur with no umbrella at all, I think the the skill set that comes to you is to view the problem more holistically than narrowly, because entrepreneurship is not about just solving the trivial problems of clients.
Right.
It ranges from, I mean, you are an entrepreneur and a successful one.
Yes.
So it's a very dynamic process. Every day is a different day. And anybody who comes into your room largely comes with a problem. And I think that ability to juggle seamlessly from one problem to another, one issue to another, legally also, um, and the ability to compartmentalize. Let me put it this way: that you deal with human resource issues, you deal with M&A issues for clients, then you deal with private client issues, then you have a litigation issues, then you have a solution-oriented issues, uh, and the ability to be with the issue for the time being, without getting cluttered that what happened 10 minutes after and what may happen an hour, to be in that moment with that issue, and solve it individually at that point of time and bring it together holistically. I think that, to my mind, is an entrepreneurship challenge. And I guess one has to love a challenge to become an entrepreneur. Otherwise, why would you do that?
Yeah, no, that's very, very interesting to be able to focus in, like you said, in that particular, whatever the problem, the issues, anything, and to be able to resolve and to have the ability to kind of handle all, like, and you can't even afford to say no to anybody because you are the entrepreneur, you are the one who started the firm. So you have no choice but to resolve all the issues that are there. Yeah. So in your, also, if you can also share with us, is there any, like kind of a moment in your life that has left an impact on you as a person? Like, let's talk a bit on maybe on a personal side, any impact, this part of you becoming an entrepreneur, of course, is a turning point, and, things have changed drastically for you the way you were when you were working in a firm. But is there any memory with you, anything of a person, who has left some kind of an impact on you, on any facet of your life?
So I think, is it a person, or is it a incident?
It could be both. It could be both. It could be an incident. It could be a person connected incident. It could be isolated from the person and an incident. So anything which you think has left some kind of an impact, on you.
So I think there is one incident and one person. The incident, and it's a little, I believe it's psychosomatic, because I lost my father when I was 9 years old. And at that point of time, the incident is not, I mean, it's a more of a, outward incident, but how that shapes you over a period of time into what you become, is I think there is an, psychological impact that that incident may have had in terms of what I may or may not have become. especially appreciating adversities and hopefully developing some amount of EQ in that sense. So that's really a very personal, ingrained. I can't even say how it has impacted or not impacted, but I'm quite sure that that has some impact on what I am today, good, bad, or ugly.
Definitely.
That's an incident. In terms of person, I would say my friend, a very dear friend, Pulak Prasad, who heads a very successful fund called Nalanda Capital out of Singapore. And uh, I think his ability uh, to bring an issue to the simplicity, because every issue has a very simple core to it, and we make it complex. So his ability to very brutally bring it to the issue and give me confidence, especially in my entrepreneurial journey, um, to sometimes you don't believe yourself, and you need to derive that from others' belief in you. And I think in that he granted that confidence. I remember he telling me that we invest in businesses, but what are businesses? Ultimately, those are people behind businesses. And if there are not the right set of people behind
Right.
businesses, then businesses don't succeed. And here you are not to invest in your own self because you know your craft. Uh, so you'll go and invest in stock exchange into people whom you don't know,
Correct.
but you will not invest in yourself, your own craft. And why would you not do that? So there are so many clear thinking messages and breaking it down to such simple levels that Pulak brings in my life from time to time and still brings it. And so I don't think he has stopped making an impact. I think that's going to be a long journey with him.
That's very nice. You have a friend like that. And it's really true. Sometimes when you're trying to resolve issues yourself, you complicate them by thinking about it in a different perspective. But when you hear somebody else's perspective and the way he's thinking, you get better clarity on your issues and then you can resolve them better. Many times it happens, many times. Okay. So, now, is there any other, like basically share with us something which you have not shared with anybody else and which our show is going to be unique about, right? So if you have shared everything with everybody, our show is not going to be unique. So if you would share now, people would remember you for that. Other than that you are a fantastic lawyer, like.
Bithika, in a sense, it's a plain and simple life for me. In that sense, it's a Bombay boy, love in college, got married and did law. And but I think in terms of not having shared, I don't think I have shared what I shared in relation to my father and how it may have been impacted my personality. I don't think I have in depth shared that with anybody. And in terms of how I've come to realize the fact that IQ takes you up to a point, but ultimate winner is the EQ. And I think there is no better teacher than adversity and challenges in life to develop that EQ. Lectures don't help if you yourself have not gone through it.
Yes.
So I think
Right.
in a sense, what one becomes is how one has conducted his life. Right at the end of the
Right.
day, everybody wants to become somebody, but they completely forget that actually making of a person is the day-to-day proposition that one has lived over years. Whether you call it success, whether you call it goodwill, whether you call it EQ, it's a accumulation of what you've been. You can't
Right.
suddenly become what you are not. And if you lived your life in a particular way, you can't get the end result of
Yeah,
what
that's
you
why
are.
we are all different because we all go through different circumstances, struggle, challenges, experiences, everything. That is why we all of us are different, as human beings also.
So I think
It's,
I think that is what I would think. I've already shared that with you. So
okay, great. Now, do you ever always wanted to be a lawyer?
so as I said, Bithika, when my father passed away, I could have become anything. He was an educationist. We had a school which had to be shut down. So actually, I had no, godfather or even a father in anything. So I could have become anything. The only other thing I was interested was music. I used to sing, and I still do at times, to the detriment of many. I used to play instruments, etc. So at best I could have done something in that field. But I I think the early challenges that I got in terms of legality, in terms of family issues, the legal issues, etc. I think that may have ingrained into me the legal part. So I don't know whether I could have become something, but if I could have, probably my next bet would be something in music, which
There's
sometimes
something what related to music.
music,
Music.
right? So I still don't know. I still struggle whether, uh, but there is no reason. There's no regrets of any sort because life has been good.
Okay. So now that you have come to your another passion, which is music. So how about your hobbies? Is it all related to music or any other, like whether it's movies, music, anything else, books, reading, painting, or is it just music? And then what sort of music?
So Bithika, actually, since this is a soulful conversation, let me be absolutely frank and soulful with you. That is the crisis that I feel that I have. Is that while I like many things, I've not developed hobbies in life.
Okay.
And I really respect people who develop that hobbies since consciously or subconsciously. So while I like reading, but there is enough reading in business itself, and therefore when you go back, it's that much more tough to open a book and read. Music, yes, but it has been pretty random. I didn't train, I didn't do anything over the years, so it's more for yourself than anybody else. Um, so yeah, that's really a crisis that I need to deal with, and I think entrepreneurs, I feel I should start playing a competitive sport to the extent my body can permit. Because all of us are, I mean, at least me, I'm not young. But I think that if a competitive sport may bring out a lot of the toxins out
Yes, yes. As we grow in
into the
age, I
daily.
think all these things become more and more important. Work, of course, always takes priority for any entrepreneur. And because of that, I think the other things which are very important for whether that's body, mind, peace, etc., takes a back seat. But the stage two come when you say that, okay, time has come for me to. Maybe one
It's
day you
difficult.
will.
It's difficult because work becomes a habit, and then
Yeah,
for you to
exactly.
stop that, and you don't know when a habit becomes a disease. So that's what we have to be, mindful about.
Yeah. Anything you would like to share with the audience, especially the young lawyers on, anything, what inspired you or what is inspiring you or motivating you today to continue with your legal profession? Anything you would like to give a message or some sort of a experience you want to share with them, which kind of is inspirational for these young lawyers?
Um, I don't know whether this would be well received at all, Deepika, but when I was young, there used to be a old gentleman called Mr. B.L. Shah. He used to own a public limited company called Perfect Machine Tools, very close to the family. He came to me once and says, whenever you start work, be where you are for 10 years.
Okay.
Now, I didn't realize because I was not, I was in school that time. And it reminds me that what he meant was that actually the accumulation or the return that you are looking for in terms of the hard work, perseverance, etc., really comes if you give that particular job wherever you are or whatever you are doing a respectable period of time. Now, 10 years may have become 5 years in today's time,
Right.
but it certainly may not have become every year that you start
Now it is
searching.
even now it is only 2 years or 1 year.
Yeah, 2 years also. Yeah. So therefore, I think the first lesson is that you have to give some time to every proposition, anything in life,
Right.
and profession is not different. So that patience is an important part. And I secondly is that every step of the way is not a calculation about oneself. Only when you immerse yourself into the subject matter and actually enjoy to bring an outcome to that or to provide that uh, service to your clients in a manner and you get engrossed in what you are doing, as opposed to calculating that what that can give you. Uh, there is a way the universe will keep rewarding you, because the more you do that, the better you become at what you are, and the better you become. No matter where you are, you might be in a small corner, people will recognize you. But it doesn't work the other way around.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. I think what happens in life is that whatever you're trying to do it with passion, perfection. And I really believe in this, that, sometimes I feel that people say, no, the people in the organizations are going to reward you. Sometimes I used to tell them when I was young and I worked in organizations, when you work for an organization, they reward themselves because they cannot deny it. They cannot deny,
Correct.
though there are people who are instrumental in giving that, but the organization is also an entity which recognizes your work, the way you are about your work and things like that. Yeah, this is very interesting. I think a lot of this thing. So what we're not talking of young lawyers, do you see a drastic change in the behavior of this generation lawyers who are joining you in firms than the ones they probably joined 10 years back, or you were working with them 10, 15 years back? Do you find a change in them?
Yeah,
Both positive, and if there is anything negative, I don't know.
I think first, I think these are a brighter lot. Not that old lawyers were not bright, but these are inherently brighter lots. Whether they are channelized, that's a different story, but these are brighter lots. Secondly, I find that they are far more secure lots than what we were in our times, because when the state of the economy, the state of country was such that job, staying with the job, getting stability was required. Here they are secure enough in their own self in terms of ability that they will do something, they'll find something, and they do find something from time to time. And therefore that evolution of the economy and the nation itself. So I find them more secure and confident in terms of their professional proposition. On the negative side, I think everything is transient for them. I think that and that really sometimes, and I'm talking generation, not person, is the stability in anything, whether it's a personal life or the professional life. Is that how do I put it? That desire to be in motion all the time.
Correct. They are restless. This is a restless generation wanting to achieve or experience, not even achieve. I think want to experience a lot of experiences. So when you want to experience a lot of experiences, so sometimes, and the time is exact. We have a set time to achieve that. So
and I don't know, Bithika, that whether this is a plus or a minus, or we are stuck in a time wrap, or it's there for us to learn. Because sometimes I read things as reports that actually in the coming years, coming decades, nobody will stay with not one job, one line of job. You might do 3 different things in your life by the time you call it a day. So I don't know. It's a bit of learning for us also.
And I don't think so restless. If I'm saying they're restless, this is also to sometimes become a lot of advantage, because if you are too kind of like, I would say like 3 decades back, people would be in a job for at least their whole life in one job, and these youngsters who, even if they change jobs, there's a lot more learning to that, because they learn much more in that job, also with different jobs that they do. So
but there is a level of wealth creation that has happened in the country that gives them the security. Previously, when people left job, they were worried whether they'll get another. So they've got a good job and they're reasonably happy, they stay back. Correct. Now there is options available. So it's good. It's good.
Yeah, a lot of opportunities for everybody, and I also find a lot of people want to be entrepreneurs. It's an interesting thing I've observed in the legal fraternity and otherwise also. They are not really they're fine if they don't get a job, but they're very happy to start on their own, and they're very happy to do something as an entrepreneur, which is kind of a change I've seen in the past few years. Okay, so maybe just 1 or 2 more, things to converse with. Is there anything? I mean, we want to, obviously, we've discussed a lot of serious stuff. So just to bring a smile on everybody's faces, is there anything that you remember that even today you think about it brings a smile to your face?
So I think
Anything, any comedy in your life?
Comedy of errors. Uh, I remember actually, in my previous job, we started with a small firm and then it became large and I think one of the best firms that there is today. And you lose the count of number of people that have joined and that have left and joined and they've left and I remember and to my embarrassment and I must apologize to the person is that I think I was sitting with the client and my colleagues whom of course I have been working for a long time and there were like one junior who was sitting there quietly and I had not seen him or met him, or rather, even if I seen him, I didn't recognize him. And after the meeting, or rather beginning of the meeting, and I introduced myself to the client because I knew one of the client, but not everybody. And I went to this young lawyer and I introduced myself. I said, "I'm Abhijit." He said, "Sir, I'm part of your team." And my colleague said, "No, that is a junior working on the team." So yeah, I think that was quite hilarious. And I think another thing that I remember, I don't know whether you call it hilarious, but I remember very fondly. I remember when I started my career in early 90s with Amachan Mangaldas with Cyril Shroff and Sudesh Shroff. I remember Cyril Bhai, they had a long conference room. It was around 7 o'clock or something at night, and he was sitting in the conference room, and I had to go and get some Ramaya or some book. So he said, "Can you fetch that and that case law, etc." So I was going out, and while I was going out, he said, "1 minute." So he says, so I said, "Oh, time." So I said, "It's 7:30." Or he's saying, "No, I didn't say that. Don't wear it from tomorrow." I remember it quite fondly because I actually didn't wear a watch, and that was really brilliant learning all through. So I remember a funny incident, but nice one.
Yeah, that's really not only funny but quite deep in its own way and gave you a lot of answers, but very interesting.
But it was good for me because, in a sense, all that we discussed, that if I really immersed myself in the work,
Right.
the rest would have followed. That's what he meant.
Yeah. Great. And that's why you have a fantastic law firm today, because of all that you went through. So just maybe my last discussion is on what do you think about spirituality? What does spirituality to you mean? Or does it mean anything or doesn't mean anything?
Oh, it means to me. I think able to get a good night's sleep without being troubled by thoughts. I think to me that's spiritual because only when you have clean conscience can you sleep well. Uh, I don't know how to put it otherwise, but I can sum it up. If you can live with yourself, you sleep well at night. Probably you've done what you should have done, and that's spirituality.
Great. That was very well said, Abhijit. So nice to have you on this, whatever you can call it. I won't even call it a show. It's not really a show. It is a really a very nice and very, how would I say, a conversation with you, which we now know so much about you as a person, which we didn't get to know earlier. So thanks a lot once again for being with us.
And thank you, Bithika. Thank you for considering me. Really appreciate and thank you for everything. And all the best with your endeavor. I know that you as an entrepreneur keep coming with new ideas, and God bless. And it's not easy to come up with ideas and implement. So I wish you all the very best in this show and otherwise.
Thank you so much, Abhijit.
Thank you.